Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here once again. Right. Let's get this over with. This is going to be my review slash thoughts on Sonic Boom Fire and Ice for the Nintendo 3DS. Okay, now, this is going to be a really weird video for me to make, for sure. Because there's pretty much like almost an elephant in the room when you're talking about this game. For loads and loads of different reasons, which I'm going to try and go over as much as possible. You know, I pretty much have to explain the sort of build up to this game as much as I have to talk about the game itself. So, I guess with that said, I'll start at the very beginning with Sonic Boom as a whole, you know. I remember when that was announced, I was very much indifferent towards it. You know, I wasn't like mad about redesigns, or I wasn't happy that I was going to get another Sonic cartoon or whatever. I was like, okay, they've said that this won't affect the main Sonic continuity or what have you, so I was just like, alright, this will exist in its own wee world. I'm okay with this, right? So that's pretty much how I felt for about a year. Obviously, in that time, not only did we hear about the cartoon series coming out, but also that we were going to get 2 games alongside it as well, which was, I have this one right here, Sonic Boom Rise of Lark, which I just bought pretty much for the sake of it, to be perfectly honest, and yeah, I'm sure we all know about this one, don't we? I remember before that game came out, before we were unsure of its fate, I remember just thinking to myself, okay, this game just needs to be decent, alright? That was like all I really expected from it. Because even though Sonic is a video game franchise, okay, this game was still technically something based off a licensed product that was based off another licensed product, right? So, I don't know, I just knew that I shouldn't set my hopes too high. Really, it just had to be on the same level as, like, Sonic Lost World, which came out the year before. Sonic Lost World being a game that I'm not mega fond of, but at the same time I have a hard time saying that it's actually bad. You know, there's a lot of good in it that I can appreciate. But yeah, that was kind of like the realm of quality I was looking for, really. But obviously it comes out and it's pretty bad, it's pretty fucking bad. It really like just rammed Sonic's reputation as a brand into the ground. In terms of like Sonic Team and all that, I had a fairly rare perception, or at least I didn't really hear many people talking about this, probably because the people who were saying they hated the game were being so loud, which was fair enough, for sure. But like I said, Sonic Lost World, I didn't find that to be a terrible game. I didn't feel like it was like Sonic's, oh, it's Sonic's back on bottom, you know. I just thought, oh, he's had a bit of an iffy game, that's alright, fair enough. You know, that was kind of how I thought about it, you know, so I didn't really think Sonic's brand was tarnished, at least where it mattered. You know, Sonic's team's reputation was alright, but Sonic as a whole's reputation was anything but good, you know. It was way back to where it was in 2006, quite frankly, you know, at the end of 2014, because everybody was talking about how bad Sonic Boom was, and it reflected bad on Sonic completely, you know, that much is definite. I hate to say it, but it really was. And in the midst of all this, obviously there was a 3DS version of Sonic Boom, which I don't own, but I'll get it one day just to own it, to be honest. And that didn't get good reviews either, but definitely all the hate was on the Wii U version, because it was the most relevant one and stuff. So what did Sonic Team do? Well, not Sonic Team, but Sega, I guess. What do? Probably the best thing that they could do in that situation. They announce another Sonic Boom game, but it's a sequel to the one on the 3DS, which wasn't good, but did not have near as bad a reputation as the one on the Wii U. And so I saw that, I'm like, alright, fine, let's do this, let's go through this cycle again. And I also distinctly remember, I think it was on Tumblr. I've never used Tumblr ever, so I don't know, but apparently you can like add tags to whatever post you're making, and the tags for Sonic Boom's Fire and Ice's like announcement held the phrase "better than the first." So right off the bat, it's like, alright, at least they know that it was shit, which there was no way they couldn't know it was shit, but they were calling attention to the fact that they knew it was shit, which is like, still doesn't really excuse anything, but you know, it's something. So I'm just like, alright, you know that it's shit, let's see what you do with this. And then something else happened, something that, as a Sonic fan, over all these years, I have never experienced ever, okay? And it really took me back, and I'm just like, wow, they may actually care. Sonic Boom Fire and Ice got delayed. You know, it got delayed quite a bit, nearly a full year, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm pretty sure it was we all just assumed at first, at least, I don't know if it was officially announced, that it was going to come out at the end of 2016, you know, like at the end of 2015, sorry, you know, just a year after Rise of Lark and Shattered Crystals, but it didn't. It got delayed to like an unspecified date, and I think it got delayed again up until now, which is, you know, October/September of 2016. And and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think a Sonic game is, at least the main series one, has ever properly got delayed like that. Right, Sega is usually always very cool on that November, maybe October release region for all their main series games. So yeah, when I heard that, I'm like, a bit of hope actually started to build up in me, and I was like, maybe Sanzaru Games actually are gonna give a shit this time. Because Sanzaru Games has made some good shit, you know, they made it's in there somewhere, but they made like Sly 4, you know, wonderful game for the PS3, absolutely brilliant. So they can make good stuff. So I'm like, right, let's wait and see. So that was pretty much the cycle going up to it. Now that the game's actually here, what can you say? Well, I can definitely say it's as good as it needs to be. Okay, it's of that quality that I expected when I first saw the Sonic Boom games coming. It's a decent game, okay? A decent game that borders on pretty good very frequently, you know? Never quite reaches a level of what I would call great, but is consistently entertaining enough that I wanted to see it to the end and stuff, okay? I didn't play Shattered Crystal, I have no idea what they've really like brought over from that. Little things that I heard included lots of like unfun vehicle sections and an overemphasis on exploration where it apparently almost felt like a shitty Metroidvania game at times. But for this one, it's a fairly standard 2D platformer. You've got a world map, you go from level to level, and you do shit. And yeah, the gameplay it's alright, it's no bad, it's quite fun, you know. At first I didn't feel like it felt very Sonic-y, but after a while I'm like, alright, this is starting to feel like that. Where the fuck do I start? Right, I guess I'll talk presentation first a wee bit, okay? It's very average in terms of presentation. I can't remember any music, and the level themes are kinda generic in a sense. You got your ice world, you have like a couple of like jungle worlds, you know. One has like a pirate motif, one has like a haunted house thing going on, and I don't know, the art direction isn't like massively impressive, as same goes for the soundtrack, you know, but it gets the job done, and it does have like fully voice acted cutscenes and all that, which is alright for a 3DS game, I suppose. I've always liked the voice acting in the newer Sonic games, Sonic Boom included, you know. I think it's miles above anything that Sonic's ever had, quite frankly. So I enjoyed that. I've never watched any of the cartoon either, but I guess playing this game, I'm finally gonna like treat that as my jumping off point maybe. So I don't know, maybe I'll try out a wee bit. Who knows? So yeah, but obviously it's the gameplay is what matters, and it doesn't feel very Metroidvania, but I guess it is more exploration focused than you know, most traditional Sonic games are. You have a map feature, and generally you'll have like a path to choose from. Typically, if you want to find the collectible, when you're given the choice, you go over to the left instead of right, and 9 times out of 10 you'll just find an optional collectible, or a way into like a bonus room. But yeah, you'll just be like going through the levels, fighting enemies, jumping on shit, and of course running really fast. At first the running felt a bit shite because you don't really have like a I guess you don't really build momentum like you do in other 2D Sonic games. You've got like a dash button, like Sonic Lost World, but it's a lot better than Sonic Lost World, I'd say, because you just have to tap it and he'll sort of like start going immediately. And you'll have like sections where he'll go into a booster and just like, you could literally just watch him go through some loops and stuff, and then it'll come to an end. It's like, okay, back to actually playing it. And that was a bit annoying at first, but they started, as the game went on, they had a good job of making it blend together. They at least gave you like this sort of idea that you were running through these levels really fast. You know, it's like, I don't know, I could probably write a whole essay on, you know, what traditional Sonic gameplay is supposed to be like and what's expected of it, when really what it should come down to is, are you having fun and is it fast? And in terms of Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, I can say yes to that. I had fun and he goes fast. And not just in these like levels where it is just a 2D game with platforming and all that. There's a lot of like little mini games, like I said, and there's a few vehicle sections with tails, one in a submarine and one like a hovercraft thing. And they were alright, they were all optional, so it was okay to just like deviate from the path and just do those for a bit. You also had these, one of my favourite bits of the game actually was when the camera got actually positioned behind Sonic and it turned into like Sonic Unleashed with quick stepping. You could boost as well, which I thought was great because there's no other real way to boost in the game. I love the boost mechanic in Sonic games, you know, so always makes me sad when they don't utilise it. But you could boost through these and you would just hit left and right and you would effectively quick step and you would just go through a level as well, you know, and that was a lot of fun. And one thing that wasn't optional was like races as well, where Robotnik would come up, grab Sonic and take him to a race that he had to do against one of his robots, and that worked out. Those were fun too, they were very fast, I liked them, you know. And but I guess one thing I should say, I can't believe I've skipped this over, is the whole fire and ice mechanic. Really, there's not too much to it, but what they do with it, it can be like quite fun, you know, and that is that literally with the tap of a button, Sonic and friends will either turn into fire or turn into ice, will have the aura around them or anything, and there's these like weird floating bits of water all over levels, and you know, standing on them when you're in ice form will make them freeze, or walking through ice when you're in fire form will turn them into water again. And you can use the fire and ice for other wee things like lighting fuses or other stuff like that, or freezing enemies, and it's not really a deep mechanic, I would say, and it actually reminded me of Ikaruga of all things. I can't believe I'm saying that. A Sonic game reminded me of Ikaruga. Who played that game? Pretty good, eh? And that's kind of the buzz I got from it at times. It was very weird. I think the controls in general were a bit iffy. I definitely got used to them, but they're quite spread out. You know, you've got a button to switch between fire and ice. You've got a button to use a sort of like grappling hook thing, which was in the Rise of Lark as well, which I guess is like a thing in the Sonic Boom universe. A button for each character's unique ability, a button to jump and a button to sprint. It was very spread out. Again, I got used to it, but I felt like it could have done the controls a bit better, simplified them a bit more, you know. I guess the other thing to really talk about is that the game has 5 playable characters, but it doesn't really amount to much. You can play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Styx, who's the Sonic Boom exclusive character. Now, I've always liked Styx. From the moment I saw Styx, you know, I remember the comparisons to Marine the Raccoon at first, you know, that really annoying fucking character from Sonic Rush Adventure. But no, this was a completely new character, and I love her because she is clearly inspired from Aika from Skies of Arcadia. You know, look at those like sticky out ponytails and that boomerang. It can't be anything else, I'm convinced. So this is my first time really getting to play around with her. But like I said, all 5 characters are just the same, but they have a unique ability which you'll occasionally get to a context-sensitive thing, I guess, and you're like, oh, I need Amy for this. Press the button, you switch to Amy, you get Amy to do her thing, and you just continue with the level until you need somebody else, you know? Because you'll always start the level as Sonic, and if no character's really needed, you'll just stay as Sonic. At least that's what I did, you know? So, the multiple playable characters, it doesn't amount to much, basically, is what I'm saying. But it doesn't really get in the way or anything either. Boss battles were also kind of cool. There wasn't that many of them though, as well. What else am I missing? Something else. Apparently, like I didn't actually look into it that much, but there's apparently like an online mode as well. Is there really? Because I got to this area, multiplayer bot racing. See, I don't know if it's actually just like online or that. Maybe it's a. It doesn't say anything about online. It says local play. Because it said like finding game and stuff, which I guess was like it was just looking for another 3DS in the vicinity so you could race it. And those races that Sonic does get into are fun, and you could probably get a good kick out of like playing them with somebody else. But I didn't experience that, so I'll not bother going into too much detail about it. Oh, I missed this actually. Official Sonic merchandise. Yeah, actually, there's a fucking line in the game where they come across a robot and it's like, man, he's cute. If only we sold merchandise. And Amy just like winks at the camera, and I was just like, you slimy cunts, you slimy cunts. But that's Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. Like I said, it's alright. A part of me hates it that being alright is like surprising me when it comes to the Sonic franchise at this point. So whether or not you pick it up pretty much depends on if you want to play a decent Sonic game. If you're really invested in the series like I sadly am and you just want to play it, go for it. Otherwise, there's probably definitely other stuff you play, like the new Kirby. The new Kirby is definitely better than this, for example. But it's good. It's not terrible. That's pretty much all you can say about this. There's a Sonic Boom game that's not terrible. Right, I've rambled enough, I think. I'll wrap this up, and yeah. Here's hoping Sonic Mania and Project Sonic. Yeah, here's hoping. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.